is SaNa. That's capital S small a, capital N small a. I live in East Point right now. I've been in East Point about 25 years. I've been in Georgia since 1991.
Perfect. So can you tell us about your journey into, what you've done in your career?
My journey, I started off in the projects of Cincinnati, Ohio. And I moved there from Bessemer, Alabama, where I don't even think I owned a pair of shoes, because that's what we did back in those days. I was 3. So when I got to Cincinnati, we moved to the projects, and that was a cultural shock with all these tall buildings and cement and thick lipstick and all that. I'm like, whoa. So, but it just happened that the building that I moved into had a library in the basement. And that's where I lived just about every day. I read about people in other worlds. I read about science and nature and, just all kinds of plays and stuff like that. So I think that's what started me to becoming a teacher. Because when we would be playing outside, when the other kids would be having, debates about what's going on, who do you think they asked? Me. Because they knew I read a lot. And I still read a lot. Well, I don't read as much as I used to, because now I audiobook. And I do like 2 audiobooks at a time. And I use the public library, my taxpaying money. So I've read the Obama story. I've read some of everybody. I love about other people's lives. Right now I'm learning about black Indians, black cowboys, and just stuff like that. Science fiction, whatever. There's a book club here, and so when I'm talking to them, I'll say, what book are you all reading? As soon as they tell me, I look it up, see if it's in the public library, I'm ready. And so as they're reading and taking weeks, I'm listening to it and finish it before they do. But I still don't join the book club because all of their books aren't audio. And I can't, reading, you got to keep still, and you can't see and all that. Audio book, when I'm getting dressed in the morning, when I'm driving my car, So that's how I got to becoming a teacher. And I went from, I've taught from elementary school all the way up to PhD. I started off in elementary school in Dayton, Ohio. Then I moved to high school. And then I realized that a lot of the students that I worked with had issues because of their environment and all that kind of stuff. And I realized I need to add something to my teaching. So then I went to college and I got BSW in physical education at Central State, Central State University. And so I realized there that people learn more from a game than they do from you talking to them for days and days and days. But when you have to learn a game, you got to learn it real fast so you can jump in and play. But if you're sitting in a classroom and the teacher's talking, your mind is over here, over there, and all that kind of stuff. So one of the things that helped me learn how to do with my teaching is integrating games without students realizing that they were playing games and helping them relax. Because when you got a class full of students, some of them think they're smarter than others or dumber than others or that kind of stuff. But when you're playing a game, people let all that go, So one of my biggest things with teaching was games. And I taught masters and I taught PhD. For about 37 years, I taught in universities. When I was teaching at Clark Atlanta University in the School of Social Work, we placed students to do their internships. So I was the practicum supervisor, and so I placed students here at Mills downtown, at Darnell, and at the Benson Center. And students who get placed, they go on the side where the seniors need assistance. So a couple of them actually got hired through the county after they graduated and stuff. Lorraine Cook was the director downstairs here at the Bowden Center until she retired. And the first time I sent her somewhere, I think I sent her to Mills when she was a student. And that's how I got here. And then later on, I ended up having some medical issues and had to take off from work. And the doctor that I had told me you should do water aerobics to help with it. So I knew it was water aerobics over here. So in 2005, I started coming here to the Balance Center to do water aerobics. I'm still here. And the pool is down. Pool's been down for 3 months. It might not be a whole 3 months, but it feels like it. So I've had to go. I go now to the Darnell Center, and I go down to the Mill Center. We play water volleyball and all of that.
Perfect.
I'm having a good time.
I want you to see, I got some questions for you.
Okay, I'm ready.
All right, and I'm gonna hand it
I get to
you.
read. Ooh, big print. Yay.
All right, so could you hold that up to the a little bit higher?
You want the
Nope, the other side. Other side, yeah, no, you're good, you're good.
Okay.
Because it has the experience folds in the back, so that's our branding. So we're just gonna, let's go to Nicole, question number 1.
Number 1. How did you meet your significant other? Right now I don't have one, so I haven't met the significant other. I was married when I was in my 20s, and I divorced when I was in my 20s. I have a 55-year-old son, and I'm just happily single. Number 2, what hobby or skill have you always loved? At age 50, I started playing a bass guitar. Started my own band. My first big gig within a year was opening for Clarence Carter at the Birmingham Blues Festival. I have played with Sandra Hall, Chick Willis, Deacon Blues, a whole bunch of folks. But I have my own band. And so that's how I'm now called SaNa, because my name is Sandra. But when I was starting the band, the guys were like, we need a band name. And we were trying to think of names, and they were like, well, do you have a nickname or something? I was like, well, SaNa. And from then on, it's been the SaNa Band. And so now that I'm retired and don't want to be called Dr. Foster anymore, I still use SaNa. And I was inducted into the Blues Hall of Fame in 2023 for Georgia. Okay, so that's a hobby that I love. Number 3, have you ever taken a trip that changed your life? Yes, every trip I take changes my life. And every trip anybody takes should change their life, because that's why it's called a vacation. When you vacate from the norm and actually leave all that thinking back, then you can focus on where you are and savor the joy of where you are instead of comparing where you are to where you came from. And so that's how I look at all my trips of, I'm going to learn something different and come back different. My most recent out of the country was to Dominican Republic. You know, I don't know if you've ever been, but it makes you think that Atlanta traffic is absolutely no problem. I mean, cars and bikes and there was little scooter things, and I'm surprised that somebody doesn't die every 2 seconds, but they are able to maneuver, you know. But I actually rode in the cab, so I'm like, y'all go ahead with that. So the little things like that. So you come back to Georgia, and you're in Atlanta traffic, and you go, this is nothing. If you had been. And another thing that I really like in going to other places is the food. Especially, I find that a lot of other places' food is much healthier than ours. And so that makes it taste different. And so you've got to get your brain ready to eat an egg that doesn't have a whole lot of grease and salt and all that kind of stuff in it, you know. So every place I go changes my life. When I come back, some of those things I implement in my own life, like eating more greens, you know, eating less meat, because we are some serious meat eaters here. All right, number 4, what is your favorite television show? I don't watch much TV.
Could be a book.
But no, I'm gonna stick with the TV show,
Okay.
because that's the question. My favorite movie, though, is The Wizard of Oz. Not The Wiz, not none of that other stuff, but The Wizard of Oz. Did you know you can go back and get The Wizard of Oz in 1920 something? I mean, no, 18. The Wizard of Oz has been out for a long time. They had it out before we were speaking. You know, what do you call it? The caption where you have to read it. And I think the scarecrow or the lion was actually black back in those days. So when you get a chance, go back and watch one of those old Wizard of Oz. It's got to be about 6 Wizard of Oz's. So that's my favorite movie, but that's not a television show. My favorite television show, usually when I want to watch something, I just blink until I see a black person or female. And then I'll say, well, let me see what they're doing here. But, you know, most of those, the TV wives and all that kind of stuff, I don't watch any of that kind of stuff. I like educational and make me laugh. So my favorite is make me laugh type shows. All right, can't name any because I can't think of the name of anything. Big Bang Theory, that's a good, I like that one. Because one thing about that is, you know, they teach at a university. I taught at universities all those years. And they're just as corny as they can be. And I work with a lot of corny people. But they're, you know, I love nerds. All right, what advice would you give your 20-year-old self? Don't take life personal. Things are going to happen, and they happen for a reason. Sometimes you'll never figure the reason out, and so let it go. Don't try to figure it out. Just live with it. And like B.B. King says, take it like you find it, or leave it like it is.
Brilliant. You've been so inspirational. Thank you so much for sharing. And I guess the last question I want to part you up is, now again, we're still, have you had some time to reflect and think about your life a little bit from seeing these questions? If not, please don't, you know, of course, force it, but just...
Say that one more time.
Have you had a chance to reflect now, you know, we're going to August 21st, National Senior Citizens Day. Have you got a chance to kind of reflect and about, you know, going forward to your next, I guess, progression in life?
Yeah, I'm trying to figure out what I want to be when I grow up again. So, I stopped playing the bass in 2023, and I'm debating on whether I want to play a harmonica or a keyboard. It'd probably be the harmonica because I can carry it around in my pocket. A keyboard I'd have to carry with me. But one of the things I'm liking is teaching seniors about computers, about AI, because they are afraid for no reason. Well, no, you gotta have a reason, but you know, you have to get them past the reasons. I taught a class over here in beginning computer with students that don't even know how to use a mouse, you know, and so that's what I think anybody working with seniors needs to realize, that we need to be upgraded on technology, and it needs to be taught in a way that you don't feel stupid, because you got people who've been doctors and lawyers and Indian chiefs, and now you put a piece of AI in them or in front of them or a computer, and they feel intimidated. And so it's hard when you were the one that was always in charge to now not know what you're talking about. And so the thing is to get people who can say, these are seniors. We got to make it playful, because again, playing helps. I also taught a gaming class here where we sat at the computer and we played games. And I played music in the background, that old school Motown music and stuff. They just are bouncing and playing the games and not even realizing. I even brought in some cups with nothing in them, but some cups like we were sipping, you know, and every now and then I say, okay, let's take a sip, and they take their empty cup and sip it, you know, so we were playing, you know, and they got to play against each other. So some of them, I see them and they're telling me, I'm up at 2 o'clock in the morning playing Mahjong or word games and all that kind of stuff. Thank you so very much, you know, because we also have issues sleeping. And so if you can play some games, it helps calm you down to sleep.
Perfect, Dr. Foster. Again, thank you so much. You've answered the questions wonderfully and, of course, genuine. So I appreciate everything, appreciate your time. You've been such a great, I guess, sit down, so I really do appreciate it. But this is going to be the end of our interview.
Okay.
Thank you again, and we'll continue with follow-up after this, all right?
All right.